Okay, let me make sure my microphone is. Let's see, settings.
We have not if we ask not. But if we ask and don't
All
give detail,
right.
well, that's a problem too. So I'm going to rectify that right now. Hey there, my name is Laurel Rutledge, and I'm the host of the Rutledge Perspective Radio Show live on the historic PCOH The Boost station. And so many of you have asked how to get in touch with me or work with me that I guess it's time to let you know. Well, the easiest way to do so is to head over to my website at laurelrutledge.com. There you'll find my free courses, my one-on-one and group coaching, and my customized consultation connections. Oh, and you'll also find links to this show, my podcast, my fireside show, and my social networks. So here's your call to action. Head to my website and schedule a call with me. If it turns out I'm not your person, I probably know someone who is. But take action today. Now is the time. Let's do this.
Good morning. We're about to get started here on the radio show.
Hello, this is Laurel Rutledge with the Rutledge Perspective, and you are tuned in to KCOHradio.com. Hello, my name is Laurel Rutledge. I am the CEO of LaurelRutledge.com, the creator of the Rutledge Perspective podcast, and now I am the host of the Rutledge Perspective on KCOH TV, The Boost, and I am so excited. My background in human resources and also in business and consulting has given me the opportunity to share information with all of you. And what we're going to do is talk about the foundational pieces, whether or not you're building a business or you're building a career. It all comes down to strategy and people. If you don't know where you're going, how do you know who needs to be on your team? So please join me, join in the conversation, catch the show both on the radio, on the app, and also on Facebook. And I will be on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to seeing you there.
Good morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday morning. Back in the saddle. I missed y'all so much. I miss being here. Now, I had a good time while I was gone, but I did miss my Tuesday mornings with y'all. I am Laurel Rutledge, the host of the Rutledge Perspective Radio Show live here on KCOH TV Radio, The Boost, KCH Global Network, here in Houston, Texas, in the historic Third Ward at the corner of Alameda and Wichita, in the historic station of KCOH. Been here for 60 plus years. And I am just excited and blessed and thankful to be able to be here with all of you on this Tuesday morning. And so we're going to be talking about creating memories. Oh, and see, I got my little antlers on. See my antlers. They even have a little holly. See, got to be festive. So got my red lips on. It's all, it's all good. It's all good in the neighborhood today. So we're going to be talking about creating memories today. And it's not just about personal memories, but you as a business owner, as a leader in a corporation, as maybe a leader in your organization, you create memories for other people. Your engagement with them creates memories for them. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we get started, of course, I've got my vote pin on always. So I believe all of the runoffs in the U.S. are done now. There may be some local runoffs. There are some shenanigans happening. There's some definite shenanigans happening in Odessa, Texas, y'all. I need Odessans. For those of y'all in Odessa, I need y'all to wake up. What's going on in that city council is not all right. So y'all need to be paying attention. And that just serves as a notice for everyone around the country. Once folks get in, if you didn't pay attention to who you voted for, once folks get in, you never know how they're going to behave. You need to pay attention because now you stuck with them for a piece of time, but you need to pay attention to how they act and what they do so you can boot their little butts out of there the next time if they don't behave appropriately, if they're not trying to follow the rules, if they did a rookie do on you to get in and then the real them shows up. That's why I say you got to educate yourself and really look at who people are before you vote for them. So pay attention to what's going on. There may be still some runoffs in some places. I think it's really late in the year to still be doing some of those. I think most of those are done. I did not see any that came up when I did my research this morning to see if there were any coming up. So if you do have something going on locally, make sure you are showing up for that. Then globally, Elections start again in January. So I think the first one is like January 13th or something like that. So we'll be back in the saddle in 2023. Y'all, we're 2 weeks away. We are 2 weeks away from 2023. I can't even. So, yeah, get ready because we're going to be talking about that in 2023. There is National Voter Registration Day that's happening in 2023. We're just, we're always going to talk about voting. So if you are watching my show, good morning, Mama Young. If you are watching my show, if you're tuning in and that's something that irritates you, just know that's something we're going to talk about. It'll either be at the beginning of the show or the end of the show, but we're going to talk about voting. So, either tune in a few minutes late or tune out a little bit early if that bothers you, because to whom much is given, much is expected. And so I must use this platform to talk about those things. So we're going to do that. For 2023, if you go onto my website, you heard one of these in the CTAs. If you go onto my website, laurelrutledge.com, under the radio show section, there's a little link where you can say, I want to be a guest on the show. If there's someone that you think I should think about interviewing and they are local to Houston, and can be in the studio and are vaccinated and healthy, because we don't want any of that up in here in the studio. If they're healthy, let me know, right? Send me a DM through social media or on the website, laurelrutledge.com/radio show. And there's a link there where they can say, I want to be a guest on the show. And we'll get on the phone and see if that makes some sense. Already we have the president of the Houston Area Urban League is going to be coming on. I also have a local physician who's going to be coming on talking about family health and how we take care of ourselves going forward, especially entrepreneurs and senior level business people. We have a choice. I just did an interview yesterday with a doctor of osteopathic medicine, and we were talking about that. We have choices. When our health starts going crazy, we need to pay attention to it. And there are some really they're disturbing health disparities. And we know that. And those really came to the forefront during COVID. And so talking about how we as leaders, and especially if you are building your business and you are going to have employees, how are you ensuring not only to take care of your health so you can keep running your business, but how are you making those decisions around paying attention for your employees? What kind of health care are you going to offer for them, if any? Is mental health going to be a piece of it? What does PTO look like? What are those kind of decisions you're making as an entrepreneur, both from a cost perspective, but also from a culture perspective for how you want to run your business and how you want to show up? What do you want to create? Right. So we're going to talk about that. So there are a few people I've got on the list to come up for guests on the show for 2023. If there's someone that you would like to have as a guest, or you think it would make sense to have them on the show, that they know and have a perspective on leadership, on entrepreneurship, on how we show up and what we do. It's all about perspective. It's all about alignment, vision, and action. If they're in that realm somewhere and you think it would make some sense, have them go to my website and fill out a form, and I'll get on the phone with them and we'll chit chat and see what makes some sense. All right. Also, you can do the same thing if you're interested in being on the podcast. I only interview women on my podcast, my pre-recorded podcast. I only interview women there. And then Fireside. Fireside is probably going to be every other week in 2023 as opposed to weekly. It'll be every other week, and it's going to be midday, probably on Wednesday. So, so get ready for that. All those announcements coming out here soon at the beginning of the year. All right. So let's dive in. We're talking about making memories and creating memories today. So I was gone last week because my mom and I got a chance to go visit with some cousins in Arizona. And then we got a chance to go see Michelle Obama on the last stop of her The Light We Carry book tour. And Oprah was the facilitator of that discussion. So we got to see Oprah and Michelle Obama. You know what? It was a good night. The crowd was great. DJ D Nice was there. He is awesome, y'all. I don't know if anybody tuned into him during COVID. He got really big during COVID. He started hosting what he called Club Quarantine on Instagram. So basically a party. He's a DJ, and he started a virtual party during COVID. And it was so good. It was so good. Old school R&B. People were singing the songs. It was really, really nice. And you could tell kind of generational differences, because there were some folks who were like, what is this? Right. And there were other folks who were like all singing all the words. It was great. And Michelle Obama had some serious nuggets, y'all, some serious nuggets about how, Oprah had asked her, and it was in her book. And this book is really good too. Becoming was excellent. And this one is really good. And she she talks about how, not everyone can go with you when you go to places. And Jerry and I've talked about that a bunch on the show. Not everyone who's been with you all the time will be able to continue to be with you. People are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And not everyone makes it, right? Not everyone who says they're your friend really is supportive. You sometimes you got, sheep in or wolves in sheep's clothing sometimes, And so she talks about not everyone can make it there. She said there were some people that were like, yeah, you can't, you behaving like that, you can't come up here, right? She was really clear. But one of the things she said was, there are people, she calls it slow ghosting, which I thought was just masterful. She said, yeah, you just slow ghosting people. She said, you don't just necessarily cut them off, you just become less and less accessible. I thought, oh, that is so good. In other words, you don't have to be nasty. You can still go high. You don't have to be nasty. But just slowly, you just become less and less accessible. I mean, it was just really good. And she talked about her table, right? Having people at her table. And that is her place because, everybody talks about her. Is it still time to keep going high, Michelle? Is it still time to go high? And she said, it's always the time to go high. She said, but what people mistake is that going high doesn't mean you don't get angry and you're not upset. That's not what that means. It's just choosing how you show up and which battles you fight publicly. And so she said, her table is her place where she goes low. She said, we have a lot of go low moments at the table. And so she's got about a dozen people, I think, in her table. And I call it my village, right? I've got my village, and my village is, and you have to have those places where you can go low, where you can just say those words you don't necessarily want to say in mixed company. When you get to have those opinions that are really controversial that you may not want to put out in public, you need those places where you can just completely take the mask off, just be who you are and get down and dirty around what is just really ticking you off. You need to have those places. But it was great. It was really, really great. And she talked about leadership. How we are in the midst of all of this craziness going on with COVID and everything else. And what people don't remember is we also had an Ebola scare and we had a bird flu scare, and that was about leadership. And as she said, that was my husband, right? So they showed pictures of him and they showed pictures of them together and pictures of the daughters. And it was really, really good. She and Oprah are my best friends in my head. They are. I know they know it deep down that they're my best friends. That's what I tell myself, right? One day I'm going to get invited to dinner and just be able to hang out on the couch and just chit chat. Me and Gail and Oprah. So my mom and I got a chance to go do that and spend some time there. And we decided as a family years ago, that we were no longer going to do gifts, at least for the adults, right? We were no longer going to do gifts. Nobody needs nothing else. We don't need nothing else in our houses. We don't need anything else to dust or find a place for, any of that. We just don't need it. What we were going to do is make memories. And so we've done trips, we've gone places. We did South Carolina, we did Belize. We've done some things like that really create memories because those stay with you a lifetime. The things go away, especially now, right? And I'm going to totally digress here, but there's this woman that I follow. I think it's called, her IG name is Serena. She's like my spirit animal, right? Because her house was built in 58 and she's like all about the 50s and 60s. She sews all of these dresses. My mom and my cousin were looking at them going, oh my God, I had a dress like that. And now it's a little over the top. Like her whole kitchen is like 1950s, but she's got this old Frigidaire stove that I want. It's like that Easter yellow, that really bright yellow. And it's got the pull down oven doors and it's got the pull out, burners. It's just, anyway. So we were talking about all of that and watching these things, and and I digress about her because for a point. And as we were talking about all of these things, and I was showing my mom and my cousin this woman, all of these memories were coming up, right? I remember that dress. I remember when Mama made this dress for me, and I remember this thing that we went to, and what about the house, and what all of these memories that stick with you forever. I remember when we went to Arizona and all my friends showed up and I said I wanted golf lessons, but what they did, because they knew me better than me, is all these friends that I hadn't seen in a while, they actually invited them and they came and they showed up and we got a chance to hang out, right? And it was awesome. And so we decided a long time ago that what we were going to do is create memories. We weren't going to buy no more stuff. We were going to create memories. We were going to spend our money on opportunities to be together and go see some things and experience some things together. And when we did South Carolina, we got a chance to go to do this tour, a gullah tour. which was phenomenal because the Gullah people are there in those islands right off the coast of South Carolina. And there's some places there that they're still very much family owned. And it was phenomenal for us to be able to spend that time together and have good food and just amazing things and celebrate birthdays. And as I started thinking about all these memories that we've created, and as we all get older, because 2023 is double nickel year for me, right? And as we get older and as different things begin to matter, even in the face of the Today Show talking about kidults, right? All these adults buying toys for themselves now. Some of it anxiety ridden, right? People feeling good about doing puzzles and Legos and stuff. It's a way to manage their anxiety. All of that stuff that popped up during COVID. It's really building those things that create memories for you, create hopefully good memories, right? Memories that you can rest in and sit on when the world is dark and when things are crazy. And this is a wonderful time of year to be creating those memories. You know, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas. It's a wonderful time to be able to create those family memories, those friends memories, like Friendsgiving, right? It's a great time to do that and spend time with people. And here's the thing that I think we miss, because the show is, yes, about you individually showing up, right? Who you are, how you are, who do you want to be, and what legacy do you want to leave? How do you want people to engage with you? How do you want people to feel when they're engaged with you? And it's about that, right? Your perspective, how you are, who you are, what you're bringing to the world, the impact you're making. It's also about leaders and business owners, right? Because it's all the same. Whether you're building a business or building a career, it's about strategy and people. It's about your alignment with who you are. It's about understanding what it is that you want and what it's going to take to get there. All of that is the same, regardless of whether you're building a business or building a career. It's all comes down to those nuggets, strategy and people, right? Able to shift your perspective and understand other people's perspective. Able to really always stay aligned with who you are and understanding when you're out of alignment, what to do to get back there. Being able to understand your expectations and being clear about your expectations of others. That's what leaders do. Leaders are clear. It's not unkind to be clear with yourself and with others, right? And then making a plan. So many people create these strategies and do these things and talk about these big ideas, and then they don't do anything, right? And I have to really be mindful of that too, because I'm an idea person. But then eventually you got to do something if you want it to happen, right? You got to actually take action. And so when we're talking about creating memories, I think it's a really great time, especially as we're entering the end of the year. And now people are gone, right? For the most part, there are a lot of people that are taking these last 2 weeks off of businesses, right? They've saved up their PTO, right? And they're taking this time, they're spending time with their kids. Kids are out of school. It's just that time. Things are slowing down, unless you're in traffic in Houston. Things are slowing down. And it's a good time to remember and reflect on your responsibility as a leader, as a business owner, because if you're a business owner, you are a leader, as in your organization, in your department. What memories are you creating for people? What memories are you creating for people? Because just like they talk about, the people don't leave companies, they leave bosses. That's true, right? They leave bosses. They leave people who have been treating them poorly. They leave departments to go work for different departments because the different department has a different leader, right? People support or don't support your organization based on how they feel and the mission of the organization, right? Or what their perspective is around where their job fits in their overall life and the importance of that. But you create memories for people, professional memories for people. How do you talk to them? How do you guide them? How do you lead and support them? What things do you put out there? If you go back and listen to the replay of my interview with Anna-Mika Anderson, who owns Mia Donna Diamond, she's in Portland, Oregon. She talks about how her business is a social enterprise. That's what her business is. Her business is a social enterprise, which means it's not about the lab grown diamonds. It is the fact that her business of lab grown diamonds enables her to make a huge social impact on villages that have been decimated by the diamond mining industry. That's why she's in business. That's why she does what she does. It is a social enterprise. Much of her profit goes into doing that. It's not about the gyms, right? It is about innovation and science and things like that. And she's doing some amazing things that can impact the climate and can impact these villages. She's doing incredible things. But her deeper why is the social enterprise question. She is creating memories for people through her business. She's creating memories in these villages of helping to build farms and teach women and lift up women. Because when you teach a woman, when you educate a woman, when you give a woman skills, she lifts up a community, right? So she is making an impact through this social enterprise because she is creating memories, right? Through impact that she is making. The people that work for Mia Donna have this engagement with her as a leader that creates memories, that gives them an opportunity to think deeper about who they are and what they want to do. Part of what the strategy part that I've been doing myself here towards the end of the year is, what is the deeper why for why I do what I do? What is the deeper why? There's that why that's real, that is, I don't want any other Black woman in corporate to feel the way I felt. And I don't want any woman entrepreneur to get in trouble and have to write big old checks because they are not leading with or they're not acting with their head. They're leading with their heart, which is what we do masterfully. That's what makes us such incredible business owners. We're leading with our heart, but we got to act with our head, right? It's that balance. I'm a Libra, right? It's that balance. You got to be able to do both. You got to be heart led, but you also got to act with your head. You got to think about the things that you're doing. And so those are my whys, right? I want women business owners to be able to make millions and millions and millions because they take those millions and do incredible things with them for the world. And I want them to be able to do so by still authentically showing up as who they are and being who they are and being amazing entrepreneurs. And one way to do that is to make sure you are thinking, having a risk mindset, right? What are the risks that I'm assuming here? What are the things that I'm doing here? And that's important. It's important to be able to continue to do that on a regular basis. Really be able to think through. I don't want anyone to go through the pain of building their team, right? What are the 5 mistakes you make in building and retaining your dream team? I know how to take people through that so that they can make better decisions to have the team that they want. That's one of the reasons I do what I do, because I can see it. I can see it. It's just one of the things that I'm gifted with. I can see those dots. I can see the disconnects. I had and when I went to see one of my clients in November, and I love this client. They are incredible. She has put together a team. I don't know where she found all these unicorns, but they are a herd of unicorns, and they are doing incredible work. And one of the things they talk about is just they're just overworked. All of them are just overworked, and they've added staff and all this kind of stuff, and they're still overworked. And I had them do a time study. And in the time study said, no, not so much. If the time study was real, right? The time study said you're not actually working crazy like you say you're working. There were some blips here and there, but it wasn't like I was expecting to see 80, 90-hour weeks, not a 2-week, 80, 85-hour period, right? Which is reasonable for leaders. And as we started talking about it, it's like, wait, it's not the actual hours, it's the feeling of the chaos. It's the feeling of the chaos is what they said. I'm like, exactly. That you can deal with, right? That's what you can do. That's why you go with data, right? So I do these things because I want people to be able to lead with their heart, but act with their head. If you're acting, in this case, if you're acting on that emotion of busy, 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 we're just too busy, we're just too busy, we're just too busy. But the data says different. You can address what the data tells you. The data says it's not about time. It's about feeling and efficiency and effectiveness. It's about communication. It's about, now I know what to address. It's not the time issue. It's not the scheduling. Although there may be some other things there underneath that we need to talk about, right? As entrepreneurs, as business owners. But that's not the thing. Go get the data and figure out what it is you're really trying to fix so that whatever solution you build actually addresses the root cause of the issue, right? So those are my kind of surface whys, is creating that situation where people can really build businesses that they want or build careers that they want without having that pain and suffering. being able to stand in their power to make a choice, being able to leave an organization when they're ready, because we all have a choice, even though corporations, especially big ones, make you think you don't. You do. You always have a choice. And you're not free from the consequences of your choice, but you always have a choice. Always have a choice about what you're doing. So that's kind of the surface why. But if I think about the deeper why, this whole idea of really creating memories, of really creating an impact, of what legacy I want to leave, because I don't have kids, right? So it's not like I can leave things to my children, but you still create a legacy. There's still something you can leave, right? That name, that Joseph Rutledge lineage that you want to leave. And that deeper why for me, that social enterprise piece for me is education. I believe it is the great equalizer. That doesn't mean everybody has to go and get a college education. That's not what I mean. But everyone is entitled to an exceptional high school education, at least a secondary education, right? That should be high quality. It should be high quality. And so my deeper why is, how do I impact access to high quality education where critical thinking is a critical component, where reading books, all books, is important, because by seeing all of those different perspectives, one gets to make their own decisions about what's important for them. About understanding that if you are so upset about public education, that's why they make homeschool your kids. You got a chance to do that during COVID. If you're so much better than the professional educators, keep your kids at home and let the professional educators educate kids, right? And how do we ensure that teachers are getting the education that they need, that they're getting the support that they need, that they're getting the pay that they need, that they're not coming out of their pockets to put pencils and paper in their classrooms? That's the deeper why for me, because my parents really instilled in us the importance of education. And they sacrificed for us to have a really good education. And again, that's not about a 4-year degree, right? It is about a really good secondary education, right? At least everybody should get really great high school education. But it could be then your next thing is a certificate, some specialized skill that you want to do. Or maybe it's an associate's degree, or maybe it is a 4-year degree, maybe it's a PhD, whatever it is for you that makes sense for you. But it's that deeper why, right, that's really important. And so how does that connect to creating memories? It connects to creating memories from this perspective. Every situation where you engage with someone creates a memory for them. Every single interaction creates a memory. When you go into a store and that person, when you ask them a question, is like, oh, let me take you to where that thing is. Or that person says, I don't know. I don't know if we even have them. That's creating a memory in that moment. That is creating a thought process, that is creating an experience for that person who has been engaged with you, with your organization, with your store, with your business, with your product. We are creating memories every time we interact with someone. And it's not just our personal memories. It's not just family. Because sometimes those family memories are fantastic. Sometimes those family memories are really horrific as well, right? Not everyone has a, Norman Rockwell family situation. In fact, most people don't, right? And some people are families they created, not necessarily families into which they were born. Good morning, Mama. It is the creation of memories that enables us to connect with people, right? And that creation of memory is not only your personal creation of memory, but it's every time you show up. Every time you show up on social media and somebody engages with you, whether that's the real you or the highlight reel you, you're creating a memory for someone. You're creating an experience for that person that tells them what to expect when they talk to you, or when they engage with you, or when they send you an email or send you a note or leave you a voicemail. You're creating a memory. You're creating an experience. And for entrepreneurs, as you're building your business, what experience do you want to create for people, right? There's a gentleman, I'm really hoping to get him in here in studio, because I really want to talk to him about his philosophy, not so much why he did what he did, but how he stays on top of it, remaining quality, right? And remaining high quality. And it's the gentleman who started the Houston Grub Park, which is all Black-owned restaurant food trucks. It's now since moved to over in the Meyerland area from down by the Astrodome, but still has these amazing food trucks and these amazing entrepreneurs. It's such a great concept. And there are things that he does in ways he holds not only the food truck people accountable, but also patrons accountable for how we act and how we're gonna, how we're gonna show up. And when I sometimes look at the things that we see and how we engage and how we create memories for people, there is so much divisiveness right now. And there's so much, we know about the institutional racism. We know about the bias that's going on. We know about all the things that under 45 were able to just come to the forefront. Those of us who live in this skin know that that stuff never went away. It just was not in fashion to have it be so public and so blatant. 45 enabled that to be much more acceptable in some circles, to be nasty and ugly for no other reason than how someone shows up in their skin, right? And so as I was watching some things yesterday, there was a situation that someone recorded, of course, because the minute something happens, everybody pulls out their phone nowadays. And this person was losing their mind in a Dollar General somewhere. I don't even know where it was. I literally sat there. It was like watching a train wreck. I sat there watching, like everybody else. I sat there watching it and thought, I can't really be seeing it. I don't even understand. Now, of course, there was no context. Who knows what happened before the recording started? But this person was yelling and screaming at a person who was checking them out. And you could hear in the beginning, the person that was checking them out actually was not raising their voice. I think they were saying some choice words, but they were not raising their voice. They weren't, acting. They weren't matching energy. This person was yelling and screaming. They started breaking things. They started emptying. I was flabbergasted. And even the person recording was like, I have no idea what's going on. Am I really seeing this? Am I really seeing this? And all I could think to myself was, I don't know who else is in that store. I don't know what children are in that store. I don't know what the demographics are in that store. But this person has just created a memory for people in this store. They've created a memory for people who would be in this similar situation, right? Our nervous system start to see something. It's that stuff that we can't control, right? That fight, flight, or freeze, or faint. That response to situations that we feel are dangerous. And now you've got people who have gone into a dollar store and have seen this madness. They can't even exit the store because she's right at the door, throwing stuff, breaking stuff. I mean, she was literally taking things off tables and breaking glass, emptying boxes of who knows what. I mean, it was ridiculous is what it was. And all I could think in that moment was, one, I'm embarrassed for her and everyone else. But two, we are so responsible for our responses. And sometimes you do find yourself kind of having an out-of-body experience when things just go crazy. But we're also in those moments creating experiences for those people around us. When you are a business owner and you have employees in particular, and you have employees who have challenges, right? How you respond to them publicly creates memories and experiences for all your other folks. How you talk to them, how you treat them. If you come busting out of your office yelling at people, you're telling employees, this is how I respond to things that I don't like. Their memory is going to be, we're not going to say when something's bad because, see, I don't want to be on the receiving end of that madness. It's not worth it. You have people, they called it quiet quitting. We used to call it retiring in place. You have people who will show up, they'll do the minimum, and then they're going home. They may not even do the minimum, but they're going to be there. Because why should they give their effort to someone who is not going to appreciate their effort, or worse, is going to mistreat them? Why should they do that? You're creating memories every time you show up. Every time you engage with someone as a business owner, you're creating memories for your clients, for potential clients, right? You are representing you, you're representing your brand, you're representing the rest of your employees. How you show up matters, how you engage matters. You're creating memories for people. You're telling them what the experience is. And right, wrong, or indifferent, you are either supporting or negating stereotypes every single time. This person who was yelling and screaming and acting all crazy was supporting a stereotype that wasn't necessarily flattering. I could hear in my head a lot of people saying, yeah, well, what we expected. I can just hear it because I've seen it and I've heard it before. I've heard people say it to me. That's why you get those comments of, well, but you're different. You're not like that. You're articulate, right? That's why we get all that stuff that is quote unquote a compliment, but what it really is a backhanded insult. That's what it is. You're not like them, whoever them is. And we all know who them is, right? You are creating memories for people. So as we go into this holiday season and you're thinking about the memories you want to create with your family and with your kids, how else are you creating memories for people that you don't even know, that have just passed in your orbit, who have just happened to be in the same place that you're in? How have you created memories for them? And how is that showing up, right? Are you intentionally creating memories? Or are you accidentally creating memories? But either way, you're creating memories. You're creating an environment where people either feel engaged or attached or appreciated or not. It's on you of how you show up and how you create and support an environment, especially when it's your own business, especially when it's your department. Your entire organization may be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but that doesn't mean your department has to be. Especially if you're a leader, you get to choose how your people feel in your organization. Everything around them may be nuts, but you don't have to be. Now, that takes courage. That takes courage to go around the grain and say, I'm not going to be yelling and screaming at people. I know that's the norm here, but that's not what we do here in this department. That's not what we do. We act like adults here and we talk about stuff, and it may get a little heated, but we're never going to be screaming and yelling. And we're going to take a criticize in private, praise in public, for the most part, type of mantra. That's what we're going to do, right? And only if absolutely necessary are we going to do something publicly that might be detrimental, right? Or might be a disciplinary action for someone. Only in extreme measures. You have a choice. You have a choice as a business owner of how you're going to discipline and when you're going to discipline people. And how you do that teaches people how to treat you. You teach people how to act. You teach people how to act with you as a leader. You teach people how to act with you as a business owner. You teach people how to act with you as an individual worker. You teach people how to treat you by the way you treat them and the way you show up and the way your behavior shows up, right? We do that. We're going to do some shout outs here in just a minute, as we're about 40 minutes in. We're going to do some quick shout outs because I'm so excited to see who is here today. And we are going to be back next week too. So we will be here after the Christmas holiday in the US. So we'll be back next Tuesday. But I want you guys, as we go into this holiday season, and it is Hanukkah as well. I think this is day 2. It's 8 days. Somebody correct me. I think it's day 2 of Hanukkah. Thanks, Mama. Mama said my antlers are cute. I think it's day 2 of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah for those of you who celebrate Hanukkah. As you're going in and you're creating these memories for yourself and for others, for your team, for your teams, think about, what you're doing and how you're creating these memories. Think about what you're doing to and for and with people, right? Think about those things. Think about how your engagement and your activity and your words and tone create a feeling and a sentiment and an environment for other people. You want people to be, if not excited to come to work, you at least don't want them to hate the idea of coming to work, right? You don't want it to be that. You at least want them to feel like they're okay coming to work. There was something in my eye the whole time. All right, let's do some shout outs, Miss Jerry.
Can I say something?
Yes, you can.
It made me laugh, and when you said that, made me think. When I came to open the door, to let you in today.
Uh-huh.
You had your fist balled up, and I said, "You said it's me." So do I create an environment where you thought it was going to be abusive when you walked through?
With Jerry, you got to be ready. You got to be ready. Because that's funny. Actually, no. You saw my fist because I was actually about to knock on the door or to push the door to see if it was open already. But y'all got to be ready with Jerry because she comes to that back door. She's ready for whatever's on the other side, right? You have to be. We are where we are, so you have to be ready for whatever might occur because it might be nothing. It might be somebody who just has been off their meds for a minute. So you just never know. All right, let's do some shout outs.
Okay, we have Kuwait in the house.
Oh,
Canada, France, Mexico, Panama, Brazil, Germany, United Kingdom, Finland, Cabot City,
yay.
Gore,
That's a
Panama
new one.
City, Frankfurt, London, Helsinki, San Diego, Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
Los Angeles, Omaha, all right, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Washington, D.C.
I love
Dallas, Fort Worth, Kansas City, and Houston.
I love it. Milwaukee, I think you knew. Y'all are freezing up there. Milwaukee, Omaha, all y'all. I saw somewhere it was like minus 34 this morning, wind chill. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I love y'all. And I want to do some pop-ups in 2023 because that is going to be coming. We'll do some pop-ups in some places. I won't be north of the Mason-Dixon line until April to about August. September and October are shaky. I might be able to make it. Might be. November, December. Yeah, no. I love y'all, but that's not happening. See, I can't. One, I don't want to get stuck. But two, I don't do cold, y'all. It just messes with my attitude. I can't. My brain locks down. It gets slow. I was thinking this morning as I was driving in, the traffic was so slow. I mean, it was so slow. And it's Houston. Average speed is 85, right? It was so slow this morning. And I thought, this cold has people unable to move. And it's not that it's cold for us in Texas. It is not that freezing, but it's almost like people's ability to actually move, even in their vehicles, has been slowed down because it's so cold. It's actually comical if you look at it. It keeps you from being irritated.
But I wonder why there's so much traffic. Isn't school out?
School's out, but they were saying today, today and tomorrow are going to be pretty busy for people getting out of town, right? For the Christmas holiday. So, yeah.
And the cold weather does have an effect on people's personalities, mood swings, and all that kind of stuff. The day and the
oh yeah, I'm cranky.
Kind of stuff.
I get cranky.
Yes.
I get cranky when I'm cold, and it's overcast. And all, yeah, I need sun. I've got a sunny personality, right?
Annette Whitaker said this was a topic in her psychology class last night.
Oh, cool!
Sociology class.
Awesome. Oh, good for you. Going to class. I need to start doing that next year. I got some things on my plate. Yes, that whole creating safe spaces and creating memories for folks. We are responsible. We are absolutely responsible for the memories we create. And I want y'all to go out and create some amazing memories. So as we end, we got about 15 minutes. So let's talk about fun memories. We've talked enough about business stuff today. So let's talk about fun memories. So my mom, we were in LA, and we were just chit-chatting about a bunch of stuff. And I said, so Mom, are you going to make brownies this year? And so she's like, yes, baby, I can make some brownies. And then we, the next day I was like, and remember that cake grandma used to make that would have, sometimes it'd have pineapple in the middle. Sometimes she'd make that boiled frosting. I remember coconut, but y'all didn't like coconut. So maybe she didn't put coconut. And sometimes she just did powdered sugar. Maybe we need to make one of those too. She's like, okay, we're gonna make the cake. And what about the date nut cook, y'all? I don't know what we're gonna eat like for real food, but we're gonna have some great desserts. And here's the thing for me. There's so much memory tied up in those. Mom's brownies. My best friend, Tisa, who we were there one Christmas. Tisa, I don't know. Mama Young, you might remember this too. Mom, I know you'll remember. Tisa and I were in the kitchen at Mom's house and we were mixing up brownies. She was making so much stuff. I think we were doing something for the sorority. I don't remember. But we were baking a whole lot of stuff. And so Tisa and I just got in there and said, Mom, we'll just do it. And we started making the brownies and we forgot to put the flour in the brownies. Those were some of the best flourless brownies. They were so good. And we didn't realize it until after we baked them. and we were cooling them, and we looked over, and the whole little tub with the flour in it that had already been measured out and sifted and everything was still there. But they were really good. But those things bring up memories. Our striped babies, my dad used to call them, which are some cookies my mom would make that literally have different stripes. Like they're green, I think they're green, yellow, and red stripes. And he always asked for striped babies. Or my grandmother making tea cakes. I swear my grandmother's tea cakes are the tea cakes. And her bread pudding, yeah, look. Yeah, yep, piece of flourless brownies. Her bread pudding, I am a bread pudding snob. If it's not like my grandmother's, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. It's got to be like hers. It's got to have really thin sliced apples, and it's got to have raisins in it. And if it's not that, and it's not more puddingy than bready, I don't want it. Keep that. Mm-mm. But those are the memories that I have, right? Of mixing that with my grandmother, of the striped cookies, and my mom baking all these cookies and brownies and cakes and stuff for the holidays. I don't remember meat or salad or vegetables. I don't remember any of that for Christmas. I just remember all the desserts. Even one time she made these candy cane cookies, which were awesome. And they looked like little candy canes. They were red and white striped, and they were peppermint. Now, I'm not a big peppermint person, at least in a cookie, but it was really cool. So my mom, I just have so many memories of that. I remember her making an Easter cake, a bunny cake. It took her forever to do this cake, and it was 2 round layers. And I remember it like it was yesterday. And I think I was in either second or fourth grade because Miss Slate was my teacher, and she was my teacher for second and fourth. And she took one of the round layers, and she cut it like a 2 semicircles, almost 2 ovals, and the outside was the ears, and the inside was a little bow tie, and it had white frosting and coconut on it. And then she did the colored powdered sugar for a little pink in the ears. And I mean, I remember those things. Those are memories that will stay with me forever. That's not about, did I get the doll I wanted for Christmas? Who cares, right? But I remember those things. I remember, and maybe it's a food issue, but I remember those things. I remember being in the kitchen. I remember being in the kitchen with my grandmother, and we would have flour all over the place. But we were cooking with her. And my brother is a phenomenal cook to this day. And my grandmother always had us cooking, right? And always had us baking. He's gotten really into baking now. And he always makes a roll. Jay, I know he's not listening. It's Christmas, so maybe we need to make some of Grandma's rolls. Or maybe you need to make some of Grandma's rolls. Just a hint. So, Mama, if you call him, tell him I want some of Grandma's rolls. Because y'all see, I'm not making nothing. But they are. Although I may make bread pudding, but I'm the only one that likes it. So maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, so those are kind of some of the things for me when I think about creating those memories, is just that time together. My mom, years ago, when she was really sick, years ago, she was in the hospital, and she crocheted a nativity scene. And I remember my brother and I fighting over that nativity scene one year. I'm like, who's got it? He's like, I don't have it. I'm like, you must have it because Mama didn't have it. And he did have it. She let him set it up at his house one year. We did Christmas at his house. And I'm like, that might be the one thing that we fight over, is who gets the crocheted nativity scene. Because it's got everything. It's got the animals. It's got Mary and Joseph. It's got the baby Jesus, all of that. I'm going to take a picture and I'm post, Mom, so you got to find it. I don't know where it is. You got to find it. It's out in the garage somewhere. I'm going to take a picture and post it. My mom's crochet nativity scene. But those kind of things are memories that last with us forever. The times that we travel, we were the family that went everywhere, and my parents would get off work on a Friday. They would put us in the car. I'd fall asleep by the time we got to Midland, and we would hit Dallas, and we would sleep a few hours, and then we'd hit Palestine, and we'd stay overnight, and then we go to Houston, and sometimes they just drop us in Houston, and then we go back to Odessa in a weekend, right? We would do all of that in a weekend, and I remember those trips. I remember stopping at Stuckey's and getting a pecan log. I think there may be one Stuckey's left. The owners of Stuckey's don't own it anymore. Somebody else owns it, but we used to stop at Stuckey's. We used to stop at Stuckey's on the way to the track meet, West Texas Relays. It just, those kind of things, those creating those memories, guys, when we're talking about this year end, as crazy it has been for the last, 2 years, going into 3 with this triple demic, as they're calling it. Latch onto those memories, latch onto those things that remind you of what you're grateful for, of what makes you smile, of what makes you happy. You know, Jerry talks about her candied apples that her mom used to make for her all the time. Those things bring back memories that we can sit in, and they feel like a hug, right? They feel like home. Find those things, find your people. Because again, sometimes families are families we create, not necessarily families we have been born into. And those families are just as amazing and just as loving and just as rich as the ones that we may have been born into. Because you don't get to choose your family, right? The one you're born into. You don't get to choose that one. But you can choose your other family. And so choose wisely. We talked about that too this year. Choose wisely. But take advantage of that. Go create those memories with your girls. If it's you and your friends giving, go create those memories. All these girls' trips happening, people all over the world hanging out. Take those memories and sit with those. Jerry, what about you? What are some things for Christmas? What are you going to be doing? You hanging out at your pool?
No, I'm cooking this year at home, and so
can you cook?
I can cook. Yeah, I can cook. And,
we might need a sample to prove.
Yeah, I got to prove that. I'm cooking, and I told you I decorated this year. I haven't been in the mood to decorate, but they're decorating, and the neighbors are like, we're in this competition, so it makes it more fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but the memories of Christmas have always, I liked what you said about the traveling, would always get in the car with mom and dad and ride and fight in the back.
Right.
Because I didn't get enough of something that was easy. So those kind of
right.
But I love when you and your mom went to see Michelle Obama, because those are memories you need to always cherish. I think people need to take more and more pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you that all the time.
I know.
Take some pictures when you go here and go there. And I know that being single, you don't put out everywhere that you go. But at least take them so when you get back, you can post them for later. Because those are making history and making memories that will last forever, because life doesn't last forever. Right. And you're going to want to go back and look at those memorable times. I like what you said about get with your girls, get with somebody. You make your tribe. You make your family, your people. Go travel, do more. And that's what I'm looking forward to do, making greater memories. And doing more of what I didn't get a chance to do at some point. But now kind of making up for some stuff and getting around. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really funny. My brother and I, so it's just me and my brother. And, you know, I think I've said this on the show before. I don't remember. So I learned to drive in a Suburban. And that's why I like big cars, right? I like big, heavy cars. I also like muscle cars. So I'm just saying. So if somebody wants to find my daddy's 68 Mustang Shelby Cobra convertible with the roll bar, with the big block 350 in it. If somebody finds it, let me know. Because that's my dream car. That's my dream car. In the meantime, I just like big. And so I learned to drive in a Suburban. And we had a white Chevy Suburban with the third row. And then we also had a station wagon, right? We had the Buick station wagon, dark green Buick station wagon. I think my parents, Mama, you're on. I think my parents bought those cars because they needed room for us to be able to separate. I think that's why they did it. Because when we got the Suburban, like when we had the station wagon, my mom made these pallets. Anybody? Okay, I know I'm dating myself. Anybody else have a pallet? Right? So you had that piece of foam that was covered in a piece of material. So each person had their pallet. Well, in the station wagon, our pallets were like side by side. Well, that was just drama from the time we left the driveway. Once we got the Suburban, I had my seat. My brother had his seat. Never the two shall meet. It was beautiful, right? So we didn't have to. Nobody was touching nobody. Nobody was hitting anybody. You know, none of that, right? So I really think that the car purchases were about minimizing drama with me and my brother. That's what I think. I don't think American Dream though. That station wagon, it was the back seat for me. It was that window. Yes, you know, that you could look out and wave at people. Like, yep. Boy, that was life. My mom said absolutely. See, I knew it. So I mean, because those gas guzzlers, why else would you have bought that, right? Yeah. Except to just minimize the drama, so you didn't have to hear all the fussing and fighting. So yeah, those things. Those road trips, the Stuckies. I remember going to Colorado Springs on a family trip. And I mean, those things are memories that warm our hearts. When things are dark, then you can laugh about those memories, right? You can laugh about the lemon meringue pie, and you can laugh about stuff not being done, and, you know, all of those kind of things. That's what's important. That's what's really important. You can pull out the the nativity scene. Oh, Mom, that reminds me, I got to pack up that china. You can remember the nativity scene and all the other things that were posted. I actually put up a little pop-up tree myself this year, and I have not put up anything Christmas in 10 years, 15 years. I mean, it's been a very, very long time. Now, part of that is we were always traveling at Christmas too. And I'm like, why am I putting this stuff up? And then I have to put it back and I get to see it 2 minutes. I'm not doing that. It was self-preservation, y'all. But I put up a little pop-up tree this year, which was kind of cool. Yeah, it's really cute.
Why?
You know what? So Mama Young, who's on today, showed us her pop-up tree. And then Mama wanted one. And so since we were ordering hers, I figured, well, I may as well get one too, because I don't have a tree at all. And I don't do, I love live trees, but I don't want to have to deal with all the madness around a live tree. And so I just figured since I'm ordering, I may as well order one for me too. And it's cute. It's already pre-lit. It comes flat. You just pull it up, plug it in, done and done. It's already decorated, all that. Don't have to do anything else. You don't want to. I love it. Get a skirt and you're through. That's the kind of decorating I like. Put it up, pop it down, put it in the bag, good to go, right? Because it's the cleanup that bothers me. Good morning, Sarah Love. Yeah, she said she would lay in the back too of her on her family trip. She would lay down in the back. See, that back seat was the thing, man. In the Suburban, in the station wagon, that's where if you were in the back, that was like sanctuary. You could read, you could nap, you could eat in peace. In peace, you didn't have to worry about anybody else. The back was the place to be. I'm just saying. So those of y'all with kids and you're having issues, buy a third seat. That's what you need to do. Buy a vehicle with a third seat, separate. Everybody has their little sanctuary. Create a fort. I mean, because it's Texas, y'all, the heat was bad. So you had to like put your sheet up because depending on when you were traveling, which way the sun was coming in, that could light you up in the middle of the day. So you had to put your sheet up over the window. Oh, yeah.
Are you prepared when you said that? Because it's supposed to be a bad cold storm coming here.
I am. I have a couple more pipes to wrap, but yeah, I'm good. And I'll be dripping, just to make sure. So we're all good. Angela says she wish she could lay in the back seat now. I know she got kiddos now, so she got to sit up and drive. Yeah. I just love I love those memories, and I think that's why I enjoy driving now, because we drove all the time. And why, even my dad, we laugh all the time. It's like, what's the sign say? Every time I get on the road and I see people who I know have been driving this highway every day, multiple times a day, and they still can't figure out which lane to be in, or they're trying to cut all the way from the left to the right at the last minute. And it makes me lose my mind. It makes me think of my dad. He's like, what's the sign say? Read the signs. What the sign say? The sign said way back there that the exit was coming up in 2 miles. Why are you still over in the left lane? What you doing? You're going to create all kinds of drama for other people, right? What are you doing? So yeah, those are the days that I just go home. We were talking about that too. When it gets bad, we just go home. Even if there's something else to do, just pack up and go home. It is not worth it today. I don't need it that bad. I'll just get off the road and just let everybody else have it. And then I'll just hit it up like early in the morning. Early in the morning. That's just, I gotta get out. So yeah, so I want, as we go into these last 2 weeks of the year, it can be such anxiety ridden. And there's so many people who may be experiencing the first holiday season without a loved one, right? That's all the time. All the time there's someone who's experiencing a first without someone that meant a lot to them. It's just become much more kind of poignant and heavy because of COVID and all the other things we've got going on. But keep them in mind too. If there's someone who's really having a difficult time because they've lost someone that was really, really close to them, and this is their first season without them, how can you help create new memories for them or help them recall with some joy memories that they had? How can you show up for someone else and help create memories for them if they're having a hard time? Who can you invite to your home or invite to your celebration or just invite out for a drink or go get cookies or go see the Christmas lights or something? How can you use this season also to serve someone else and help create really great memories for other people? Because it's about the memory, right? It's about the memories. It's not about the stuff. It's It's about the memories. And so if we can create those and remember that we are creating not only our own memories, but every time we engage with someone else, we are creating a memory for them, We're creating an experience for them. We are creating a situation that they will recall either favorably or unfavorably. And if we can keep that in mind, maybe that will help form the way we interact with people. So I am so thankful to be here with you guys again. I missed you last week. I had the best time with my mama, so I have no regrets. But I did miss you guys as I was gone. And so I'm glad to be back with you. We'll be back next week too, getting ready to kick in 2023. So join me next week, same time, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Time here on KCOH, the Global Network here in Houston, Texas. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you all of y'all on Facebook. Thank you on LinkedIn. Thank you on YouTube. Thank you on Jerry's page. Thank you around the world for spending your time with me this morning. I'll see you next week. Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you. Make sure